What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you, another one from season 2 official trailer drop. And inside this trailer, there's details, hidden clues, and things you might have missed that point to exactly where this season's going to do. I'm going to take a deep dive into this trailer, focusing on every character to see if I can predict things that might happen this season. And if you're into that, please subscribe, click that thumbs up button. It helps the algorithm to know to share this video with more from fans. So this video, we're going to talk about two characters, that's Tabitha and Victor, because they both were together when this all ended. But first, before we go forward, let's go back. Tabitha started the mission to find out where the electricity was coming from. Once she discovered that these plugs weren't exactly plugged in, she wanted to know why they were able to have electricity. So she started digging a hole in her house, and this hole got bigger and bigger until eventually she fell through the hole and found a cavern. And in this cavern, it's where the monsters sleep. While they were sleeping down there, she discovered Victor, and Victor told her that this is the way that they had to go, and he was sent there by the little boy in white to help her. This was the first time we seen Victor since the attack on Colony House. When he jumped out the window with Julie, he went through a faraway tree after, the same way that Sarah went behind Boyd. But this faraway tree may have taken Victor to this tunnel or taken him to the woods where he was able to find his way inside of this place. So let's go through the pictures that we have seen in this trailer to try to figure out exactly what's going on with the both of them. Now, in the opening shots of this trailer, we see the new people arrive from the bus, and the people in town are going to talk to them, confront them, maybe tell them exactly what's going on and what they got themselves into by stopping here. In this scene, we do not see Tabitha, we do not see Victor one time, so I think it's safe to assume that at this particular time, we do not see them whatsoever. But they must still be inside that cave. That's why we don't see them. It's daytime here, so we wouldn't know what time it is when we see them in the cave, because it would just be too dark in that cave for us to understand exactly what's going on. But I don't think she's there when they initially meet these people, or they would have showed her at least one time in the background. Now, during last season, we seen Jim go back into the house and search for Tabitha. In this trailer, we can see specifically a scene with Jim. He looks kind of exhausted, and it looks like there's debris all around him at this particular time. We also see somebody with a hand, and they have a watch on, who's actually helping him. So maybe somebody went back there to help him search for Tabitha. We also see a scene with Kenny and Julia as they watch a house fall down. This is the Matthews house. So what I'm thinking happened is Jim is searching for Tabitha inside the house, and while he's doing so, he has to escape the house because the people, or whatever's in control, suck the house down into the hole that Tabitha was digging so no one can follow behind them. We also have a shot of this debris, which must be from the house. After that, we have a shot of a guy laying down with a bloody mouth. Now, this has to be a new character because he was never in the show last season, or he's a background character from Colony House that we just haven't seen in the show up until this point. Either way, if you look around this guy, it looks like he has internal bleeding because he has blood that's coming out of his mouth. So what's on top of him looks like some type of debris. So did this guy go in and try to help Jim dig through this stuff and get trapped underneath this house, and the house fell on top of him, and that's why he's like this? Now, if he's a new character, it wouldn't make much sense to focus on this character because we have no affection for this guy. We wouldn't want to see what happens to him. So it just can't be him that's trapped in this house. It has to be somebody that we know about that's trapped in this house. And since this is the Matthews house that has collapsed, every time they show it, they show Julie looking. We also see a picture of her looking distressed inside the trailer through some blinds at nighttime. So it could be that she's just looking at the creatures, but she's seen these creatures before, so I don't think that would stress her out. They were looking for Tabitha. Jim, I'm going to have to go on a limb and say Jim is trapped in this house with this guy with the bloody mouth. He didn't make it out. We haven't seen him in any other shots that has that shirt on. The next time we see him, he has different clothing on than when he was working with. So it's either a different day or something else has happened. It's not directly in this house. So I think that Jim could be trapped in this house, and that's why Julie is scared. In the cavern with Tabitha and Victor, we see a rat eating a crow, which is kind of opposite that we would see in this world. We know that crows hunt rats, and that's normally what we see. But in this particular instance, it's the rat that's eating the crow. Now, we see every time the tree falls that there's a bunch of crows. So what does this symbolize? Does this symbolize that this rat, or the people that are out there, the monsters themselves, caught this crow, brought it back in here, killed it, and now it has become rat food? After that, we see Victor and Tabitha. In the beginning of the scene, we can clearly see that Victor is leading the way, and then he has the flashlight. But in a little bit, we see Tabitha holding the flashlight, and she's leading the way. Now, while she's doing this, we see a cave that's sitting there with some bars. And that's when we see this first person, little girl that we see, seems to be locked up in this cave. Now, does she set this person free while she's in there? Is this person being held captive by the monsters? In another shot that we see her looking down at this cage with this person inside of it, and behind her we can see a monster sleeping. From what I can gather from this monster, it looks like the one that we've seen walking outside later on, and that is the cheerleader monster out there. This is a new monster. We didn't see the cheerleader monster in season 1, but that's what it seems, that this person is sleeping while she's there, the cheerleader monster, and they're trying to be quiet while they're sleeping and trying to sneak out of this place. After this, we see Victor coming through a hole on his hands and knees with the book in front of him. Behind him, we could see the light, so Tabitha is behind him, pushing Victor to go forward and out there. In this picture that's not in the trailer but was released by MGM Plus, we can see Tabitha and Victor in the caves. We see Tabitha holding the flashlight and Victor in the background covering his ears with both hands. Now, if it was a noise that was crazy, I would think that Tabitha can hear it, unless it's a noise that's only in Victor's head. Something that we see happen to Sarah all the time. Is that's what's going down right now with Victor? Is somebody sending him some type of message that only he can hear? After that, we see a picture of Victor, and he's with Boyd, and he's with the new character who had the seizures, right? I put that in my last video why I think it's them. Go check that out. But it's the daytime, so they must somehow hook up during the day or during that night into the day. My last video, I explained that. Please go check that one out. Now, we do see then Tabitha back with Julie. It looks like they're coming from some type of barn. And when they're coming out, we can see that Tabitha has different clothes on at this particular time, and she looks at something in the distance. It focuses on her specifically looking at it, and it's those two kids. Not the same one that was locked up. These are two different kids that she's seeing. I think that she's the only one seeing it because they're focusing on her. I don't think Julie can see this. I think this is some form of boy in white situation going on with her, with these two kids. Maybe because she freed the other one, and now all of a sudden the spirits of them are able to communicate with her, and she's able to see it. And she doesn't look too scared. She looks a little concerned, but not too scared. The next picture we see is her with these two kids. Two kids first come out by themselves through the woods. They come out specifically through the woods, and then we see her standing in front of a cavern hole with those two kids above her. Now, when we look at the size of this hole and the fact that this hole is in the woods, we see Victor and her crawling on their hands and knees through a cavern. It could be possible that this is the hole they escaped through, or this is the hole the monsters come out of, because it leads right to the woods, and we always see the monsters in the woods. So that would make sense. Also, there is some type of blocks, little statue, whatever you want to call it. Looks like more like a Jenga board to me that's in front of this hole. I don't know exactly what it means, but it looks like it can fall down, but for some reason it didn't, standing right up there. In the picture, not in the trailer, but released by MGM Plus, we can see this block thing once again, and that is with Tabitha and her son Ethan. It seems that they're on some type of porch, and they're playing with this exact same block statue. Now, it does look like a Jenga board. It does look like it could be made out of wood. And did she take this from them and give this to her son? Did she find this outside at this time and say, hey, this would be interesting for my son to play with, to keep him busy? This is also what leads me to believe that she has no fear of these little kid creatures, because why would she take a toy perhaps given to her, or they directed her back to pick this up and give it to her son, if she thought in any way that these creatures were evil? So I have to believe that she can only see these creatures herself, like her son sees the boy in white, and they're guiding her somewhere and trying to get her to do something, and that she's not afraid of them, and she thinks they're on her side. Maybe they guided her back to this situation. If this is where the monsters are coming from, could they just block the hole off and keep them inside of there and end the whole situation? Is that what they're trying to show her? I'm not sure, but we'll have to see during the season. But that is my thoughts on Victor and Tabitha. If I've missed anything, please put it in the comment section. If you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this video, spread this video across the realm, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.